girl was talented. She could sing, she could dance, she's a great musician, she's doing all of this great stuff. And then, soon as we start digging a little bit deeper, hey, Lizzo, you getting too much dip off your chip. Then all of a sudden, all these backup dancers came out of the woodwork to say, oh, she told me about myself, and she told me, and she's body shaming. Excuse me, the overweight lady is fat shaming? Come on now, that don't make no sense. But it made sense to the people who don't like her. Like, we gotta sit down and always talk about, like the fact that we have this conversation of who's hot and who's not right now. We talked about, like, how you brought up Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson, great example. Because Joe Jackson is just what a father should be. Even Reedy got a gold record. I mean, all of his kids did something to keep them out of steel mills. And quite honestly, when they got out of line, he checked them. Fun fact about Joe Jackson, he's the only black man successfully to beat the black off his kid. Ask Mike. But when it comes down to it, he is villainized because he did something messed up. All it comes down to is, who do we feel right now? Because the problem is, we live in a world with essentially too many options. And since we have too many options, well, I like this person on one day, and I'm going to call you Uncle Tom for the next day. Fun fact, Don Lemon. I think Don Lemon is awesome. I think Don Lemon is great. I think what he did journalistically was cool until. And then Don Lemon got a little too much dip on his chip.
That's how we started. That's how we started. Ooh, y'all ready for this countdown?
At the New Year's Eve celebration, they let him drink on air. I'm like, oh no, Don! I'm looking at Don. No, Don! Don't do it! It's a trap! And here we are. Now we got the Don Lemon we know and see today, where this once respected newsman is a party animal in a world where we used to have both. But they had the good sense to shut off the camera when you was acting a fool. We live in this, I know we talking about black leaders and stuff like this, but there is a book, if you have not read it yet, it's called 1984. And a lot of that book is about Big Brother, the camera's always on, and the camera's always watching. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to exalt you to your highest place in whatever your skill level is. But we're going to keep filming. Because there's going to be that one time you, oh my God, do something as a human would.
Hi, my name is Chrisette Michelle. I'm a Grammy Award-winning #1 Billboard chart-topping platinum-selling recording artist. 7 years ago, I sang with a gospel artist, Travis Green, on a stage before thousands of Republicans who voted for Donald Trump. Like many of you, I didn't vote for him. Like many of you, I felt the collective break in the country's heart and the hearts of millions. So I decided to sing a song I thought could heal. The song written by Travis Green was called Intentional. He took the first verse, I took the second. Instead of healing, there was a media onslaught of hate. Somehow Travis's music shot up the charts, but I was deemed canceled by the loudest voices of social media. My existence was spoken by a force greater than the opinion or disagreement of any social media persecutor. I hate that my heart wasn't seen when I sang that fateful song. I will always wonder why Travis wasn't tormented and I was. We cackle with bullies and then run off of social media, not realizing how damaging our silence is to the face of our community. The whole world watches as we tear each other down. The few of us who choose the modality of bullying and intimidation, to the world, it looks like all of us. Those few loud, obnoxious, big mouths are seen as us around the world.
You're going to have a human moment. You're going to show an emotion. You may do something in which you may just say, you know what, man, I was wilding the other day. I apologize for that. But you don't get a chance to. Because we didn't build you up so much to be perfect. Now you got to be perfect. And that's hard. Last person I actually saw come out of their mouth and said they had to be perfect was not Barack, Michelle Obama.
We talk so much about empowering young girls. What is the
I
conversation?
still think that our girls are taught to be perfect. And I think that they still dream of weddings and the security of the Prince Charming coming to say, I still think we do. I think we're working on it. I think, I'm proud of what I hear from young girls, but I think something happens when they get to that stage where you're supposed to be married and have kids.
Missed it.
And good for you. Good for you.
I mean, we've talked a lot about that.
But there's still the notion when you say, oh, you don't have kids.
Oh, my God.
It's almost, Tracy Ellis Ross must not be happy because she's not married with kids.
Look where I'm sitting.
Look it. And look at what she is doing with her life.
And she was sick of it. I watched that interview when she was just like, I had to watch what I eat, watch what I talk, watch how I talk. I didn't sign up for this. But my husband is the leader of the free world. So congratulations. For the next 4 to 8 years, I got to be perfect. I'm not.
They've had a rough life, haven't they, Sam?
Yeah. They had a rough life. Because, okay, you talk about aging like bread. Look at Barack when he walks into the White House. Look at when he leaves. That man has seen some stuff. But what I'm getting at is when you're under the microscope so much, especially when you ain't asked for it, all you want to do is be like Lizzo and make 2 good albums and get out of our way. Play the flute. How many black flutists you know? Flautist. Whatever. How many you know? Right. And we got one on the main stage, and then it was just like, all right, this is great. All right, now let's take her down. But that's what it comes down to. Everyone has a shelf life. When it comes down to, we will never have a Madam C.J. Walker again.
Madam C.J. Walker, she's considered one of the first self-made black women entrepreneurs. Both she and her daughter were also big supporters of the arts and were key supporters of the Harlem Renaissance.
That's Madam C.J. Walker at the wheel. She drove her own expensive cars, plural, started her own hair care company, employed thousands of women, built her own mansion with every amenity.
This is her mansion in Irvington, New York. Normally people don't get a chance to go inside, but we're taking you in. Fantastic. Can you imagine in 1918 the reaction in the neighborhood when people found out that this was being built by a self-made millionaire who was a black woman? How'd that go over?
It was a story in the New York Times.
Madam C.J. Walker began life in this shack. Listen to her great-great-granddaughter, Alelia Bundles, describe her.
She was orphaned at 7, married at 14, widowed at 20 with a daughter.
And so Walker, born Sarah Breedlove, whose siblings and parents had been enslaved, put down roots in Indiana and then New York, making a fortune marketing her own hair ointment.
Well, you can see the original 10, a poster of the original 10 behind me. Madam Walker's Wonderful Hair Grower. It was 50 cents. People didn't bathe as often, and they washed their hair even less. She was losing her hair.
But Walker's homemade salve, made with sulfur and petroleum jelly, healed her scalp, and her hair grew back.
This is original?
This is original. This is a full body shower.
A woman who lived more than half of her life without plumbing designed her home with multiple luxurious bathrooms.
This is from 1918.
Walker's mansion had many bedrooms, bathrooms, and a custom organ which piped music around the house. She had a custom sink in the pantry, refrigeration, even floor hookups for a central vacuum built into the house.
This is the theater, the way you make an entrance.
Walker would have been even richer if she didn't pay her employees so well. And Madam C.J. Walker's story continues. Her great-great-granddaughter, Alelia Bundles, has written a book about her. Out of the cruel crucible of racism and sexism, Walker built an empire. The original influencer who took her problem, solved it, sold it, and became an American hero.
Nor will we never have a true Uncle Tom. The closest thing we got to Uncle Tom is Jason Whitlock. That's it.
Yeah, and then Tool will inform us, and Uncle Tom was, because the perceptions of them and the images of them come from outside our culture. a lot of times the people that we that are told to us, like I was mentioning before, about who should be our leaders, are misleading us, and the people that are the villains are actually the positive role models. Uncle Tom's a great example. The ones that you were talking about, like